Today, we're dining at a restaurant that is often underrated. Come with me to have dinner at Boatwright'S. There are so many restaurants at Walt Disney World that some are bound to be forgotten about, and Boatwright'S is one of them. Located at Port Orleans Riverside Resort, this restaurant is worth a visit. And with it being Mardi Gras season, I figured it was time to come on back and dine here for only my second time. Now, when you think of dining at the resorts here at Walt Disney World, Port Orleans Resort is probably not one of the first resorts that comes to mind. And maybe that's because it's not like a deluxe resort and it is a moderate resort, but I think Port Orleans Resort overall has some of the best food out of any of the resorts on property. They've got killer beignets, 2 awesome quick service restaurants, an underrated sit-down restaurant, and 2 amazing lounges in the Scat Jazz Lounge and the River Roost with Yeehaw Bob. With all that being said, Port Orleans is definitely one of my favorite resorts to eat at, which is why I'm very excited to share this restaurant with you guys tonight. So let's head inside and check out what this restaurant's all about. We have made our way inside, and surprise, I'm dining with my dad today. This is his first time dining here. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
No, hi.
No, weirdo. So I did say this is my dad's first time dining here, and I already said that it is my second time dining here. It's pretty funny because I came here to actually make a video not too long ago, like a couple of months ago, and I didn't like how the footage turned out and stuff, so I just scrapped the video, and I am back for round 2. I really enjoyed it the first time I dined here, and one of the things that surprised me the most is how big this restaurant really is. I thought it was just like the section when you first walk in, but no, there are like 2 other sections in this restaurant. It's basically like divided into 4. It's a lot bigger than I thought, and that is a good thing because a lot of people are looking to dine here. I don't know if it's just because it's tonight and it's like raining out that everyone's staying at the resort, but it is super busy. So I guess a lot of people that are staying at Port Orleans here are really looking to dine at this restaurant. Now that we are all settled, let's take a look at our menu here. These are the appetizers that we have to choose from. They have a French onion soup, some boudin balls, Mardi Gras fritters, and a salad. If you couldn't tell, given that we are at Port Orleans Resort and after looking over those appetizers, this restaurant is inspired by Cajun food. There's a lot of Cajun dishes on the menu here. I love Cajun food, but it's hard to take away the quick service for me. I love coming to Port Orleans and going to the quick service, getting some gumbo, getting some jambalaya. So usually I would just go there, but it's nice to always just like treat myself and come to Boatwright'S every so often for the Cajun food here. If you guys watch a lot of my videos, you know the recent French onion soup kick that I have been on recently. I've been ordering French onion soup anywhere, and when I came here for the first time, I did order the French onion soup and really enjoyed it. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to order that again this time. Although I am pretty tempted by the boudin balls. I've never actually tried boudin balls before. Let me know if you've tried them here and what you think. Maybe I'll get them next time. And before we get our French onion soup that I just put in, we are going to be getting some cornbread. Disney cornbread is always really good. I always find that it's like super moist, not dry. It comes with like a whipped honey butter. Disney cornbread is fantastic, and I absolutely love cornbread. So I'm having like 2 of my favorite things, cornbread and French onion soup to start off the meal. I've got the butt of the cornbread. I like the end, you know what? I like the ends of bread. Whether it's like the end of a sourdough loaf or something like that, I always like the end. I feel like it's just like crispier. Disney cornbread continues to be unmatched. I just love this cornbread, guys. It's always so crispy on the outside, soft and moist on the inside. That honey butter, fantastic. Every time I come to Port Orleans and I get like the gumbo, I always ask for like a side of cornbread to like dip in my gumbo. It's always just so good. And the best thing about this cornbread is that it is unlimited. All you can eat cornbread. Can't go wrong with that. If you want another loaf, just ask your server and they'll be able to bring it to you. The French onion soup has arrived. This is reminiscent to Pierre Dior's home village. Has Gruyere and caramelized onions in a rich beef broth with a toasted crouton for $10. And I'm assuming Pierre Dior is like a New Orleans chef, a famous chef. I'm not really too sure. I'm actually going to look this up. I have to laugh. So I Googled Pierre Dior to figure out who this guy is. And it's actually like a fictional story that this resort is based off of. According to portorleans.org, there's actually a website like fully for the history of this resort here, and it used to be called Dixie Landings, if you didn't know that. I did know that. And the Imagineers, when they opened this resort, I'm just reading off the website here, crafted an elaborate and highly entertaining fictional backstory for the location, and it covered the entire period from the original founding of Port Orleans by French settler Pierre Dior. Not only does this French onion soup look super cheesy, it smells super cheesy as well. Let's dig into it, see if we could get a good cheese pull here. This should be a good cheese pull. Still going, we're still going. Okay, there we go. Definitely a ton of cheese on this French onion soup, but sometimes there could be too much cheese. There are a few instances where there is too much cheese. This could be one of them. I remember there being a lot of cheese last time and thinking that they could scale it back a little bit. We'll see how it is this time around. I'm trying to get like a good bite here with everything. It's not really working out too well. I actually think I'm going to need to cut this cheese with a knife. There's so much, guys. I can't get it unattached from itself. All right, here we go. Finally, a bite with a manageable amount of cheese. The beef broth itself is super flavorful. It has a ton of that great onion flavor in it. It's rich, it's salty, but it's not too salty. The only thing I will say, again, is that there might just be a little too much cheese on top. I love cheese. I love a good cheese pull. But this is like a lot. Like, this is like an insane amount of cheese that we're dealing with here. But too much cheese is better than not enough cheese, and this is still really, really tasty. In terms of French onion soup here at Disney World, this is definitely up there on my list. I think the 1 and 2 spots are occupied by Chefs de France at number 1. Absolutely no doubt, in the France Pavilion in Epcot. They have just the best French onion soup I've ever had. It's a huge bowl. It's just the perfect portion of everything, a humongous bowl. You can just make a meal out of it. Steakhouse 71's French onion is amazing as well. I love getting it there, but sometimes I switch it up and I don't get it because Steakhouse 71 has so many amazing appetizers. I'm not sure exactly where this falls on the list, but like I said, it is definitely up there. And if you're coming to Boatwright'S, I recommend you guys try this out for your appetizer. Now that we've enjoyed our appetizer and cornbread, let's take a look at the entrees. They have the Taste of the Bayou All You Care to Enjoy platter, a seafood boil, a blackened prime rib, some jambalaya, crispy Cajun chicken, red beans and rice, shrimp and grits, and a blackened salmon down there as well. When I dined here for the first time, I got the Taste of the Bayou All You Care to Enjoy platter, and I remember enjoying it. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was a really good value at $36. It has ribs, crispy Cajun chicken, smoked sausage, beef brisket, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, roasted corn with Cajun butter and seasonal veggies. I remember really liking the ribs and the sausage. The mac and cheese was pretty good as well, and then the corn with the Cajun butter was excellent. I don't really have that big of an appetite right now. I'm not super hungry, so I think I'm gonna pass on it this time. But if you were really hungry and dining here, I would say that's a pretty good option for you. Dad, what did you order for dinner?
The spicy Cajun chicken, but I switched the accompaniments to the ones with the prime rib.
He's not very adventurous, so he got some mashed potatoes and green beans with his fried chicken. But I've had the fried chicken too, it's pretty good. This time around, I decided to go with the blackened salmon. And last time I talked about blackened salmon, I mentioned that one of my favorite places ever, one of my favorite restaurants back home in New Jersey, I always order a blackened salmon, and it is like so good. It's amazing. I always get it there. And a lot of people in the comments letting me know that their favorite blackened salmon was from Jose Tejas in New Jersey. And I was like, that is so crazy, because that's the restaurant that I was actually talking about. So if you commented on that video, I can't remember which one it was, just know that you were correct. And Jose Tejas in Woodbridge, New Jersey has the best blackened salmon ever. So I'm curious to see how this one here from Boatwright'S compares. The entrees have arrived to the table, and I gotta say, everything is looking really, really good. My dad's chicken is looking extra crispy, and my salmon is looking like really juicy and tender. This is the blackened salmon. It's served with dirty rice, seasonal veggies, pickled onions, and a brown butter beurre blanc sauce for $28. Let's try a bite of this salmon here. I'll say, just from the looks of it, there is no lack of seasoning. It looks like it's gonna be seasoned very well. And I was right about that. It is seasoned very well. That blackened seasoning has a really great flavor. And the salmon is honestly, it's cooked to perfection. It's nice and soft. Just how I like it. The salmon is really good. I want to give it a squeeze of this lemon to give it some even more added flavor there. I love salmon with some lemon. I also want to get a bite with some of that pickled red onion that we've got on top. That lemon is great on there. And honestly, I've never had like pickled red onions on salmon, but it just works really well. It adds like a very good acidic flavor to the salmon, which I didn't know if it would be good on it. But I actually do really enjoy it with that pickled red onion. Really good. One thing I was hoping for with this salmon was maybe like a little bit of spice. The blackened seasoning on it usually provides a bit of spice, but not in this case, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because when Disney says like foods are spicy and stuff and they're supposed to be spicy, they usually really aren't. With that being said, it still has a great flavor without being spicy. So if you were worried about spice, I know a lot of like Cajun food and stuff has a lot of spice in it. This salmon will probably be fine for you. My salmon did come with some dirty rice and green beans, so I want to give this rice a try here. It's actually really good. And these green beans look really buttery. Buttery and garlicky. What I really like about them is that they're not overcooked, so they're still a little like crunchy. I don't like when veggies are like overcooked and soggy and soft. This is honestly a perfect cook on these green beans. As I was eating my salmon, I realized that I think there's a missing ingredient on this plate. On the menu, it said this was served with a beurre blanc sauce, which I'm loving beurre blanc sauce on salmon recently. Over at Chefs de France, I keep making references to Chefs de France, but I guess that makes sense because Cajun cooking is kind of like inspired by the French. There is some correlation between New Orleans and France, and I don't know it exactly, so I'm sorry, but I know there is a correlation. So that's why I keep referring to Chefs de France, and they have a salmon dish on the menu. It's not blackened salmon, but it's salmon, and it's served with an amazing beurre blanc sauce and like a chive oil. I always make salmon at home, but I've been recently trying to recreate that beurre blanc sauce, and I cannot get it right. I consider myself a good cook, but I can't perfect a beurre blanc sauce. It needs some work. So I was really hoping to have this on this dish, but it looks like, I don't know, maybe they forgot to like reprint the menus, or they don't put it on there anymore, or they just forgot it. Totally possible. But yeah, we're missing the beurre blanc sauce on this dish. Okay, so I figured out the beurre blanc sauce. I asked my server if they like just didn't have it or whatever, and he let me know that it was like just on top of the salmon. So it must have been like a thin sauce, maybe just more of like a butter than a beurre blanc. Because usually when I get a beurre blanc, it's like rich and creamy. It's like more of like a creamy, buttery sauce. But it was on top of the salmon, so that answers that for you. And I am enjoying my salmon here. I think my dad enjoyed his chicken. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. The crust was nice and crispy, but not greasy. The spice was not overpowering. Like, you taste it more as the dish went on, but it wasn't like overpowering.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the spiciness? 10 being the spiciest.
Probably a 6 on the spice, so non-spicy people can eat it.
I know a lot of people may not enjoy that much spice. I would say on a spicy level, my salmon would probably be like a 3, maybe a 4. So not that spicy, not as spicy as the chicken at least. Usually, being at Port Orleans, I would not get dessert here, and instead I'd go over to French Quarter and get some beignets. But I've had so many beignets recently, so I think I'm actually going to try dessert here for the first time. And the dessert menu continues with the theming of that guy that I talked about earlier. I don't even remember his name. But look, it says Celia and Delia dessert. They're from a very wealthy and socially prominent family in Port Orleans. They inherited a sizable sum from their father, Jean-Michel Dessert, who made his fortune in the sweets business. So a themed dessert menu we have here, and this is what is on it. A Mississippi mud creme brulee, a southern cheesecake, bananas foster bread pudding, and a peach blackberry cobbler. Since up until this point, I have ordered the exact same thing that I got over at Chefs de France when I went in the French onion soup, the salmon, and for dessert over there, I ordered the creme brulee. So you know what? We're just ordering the same thing over here. I was like, wait, I just ordered the same thing. I was like, this is crazy, but yes, I am getting the creme brulee here. It sounds really delicious. This is the Mississippi Mud creme brulee. It's a milk chocolate creme brulee with a sable Breton cookie and fresh fruit for $11. Now, of course, one of the keys to a very good creme brulee is a little crack test to see how crispy it is on top, how bruleed it is on top. Definitely pretty weak. I mean, it might be hard to tell by the video, but a pretty weak creme brulee crack. But it is chocolate. Look at all that chocolate in there. This looks really good still. Let's see how this is. That's actually really good. I enjoy it. It's like a cross between a chocolate mousse and a creme brulee. Like, it's not fully like custard like a typical creme brulee. It definitely has more of like a mousse consistency, and I'm not mad about it because it tastes very, very good. The only thing I will say is that there's not enough like bruleed sugar on top. I like quite like a thick layer of sugar to be blowtorched and stuff. I'm not getting much of that texture from the sugar because there's just not quite enough of it. But the flavor of the creme brulee itself is very tasty. And I bet this would be really good if I took a strawberry here and kind of dipped it in there, like a chocolate-covered strawberry. It's like a DIY chocolate-covered strawberry. It's so good when combined. Overall, the dessert is really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and now I am absolutely stuffed. But we had a really great meal, honestly. From app to entree to dessert, everything has been great so far. So far. I don't know why I said so far, because that's it. Well, we are done with our meal, and you guys know I'm always going to keep it real with you guys and give you my honest opinion. I really like this restaurant. It's it's a restaurant that's like off the beaten path, and like I said, that a lot of people forget that's even there. I think it's very underrated, but I always have a great meal here. I love the menu. I love the dishes. It's just overall a great vibe at Port Orleans every time. With that being said, is it worth a visit here? If you're staying at Port Orleans Resort, 100%, you should be coming here for a meal. You won't regret it. Now, if you're not staying at Port Orleans Resort, it's a little more like difficult to get to. You can, if you have a car, I definitely say it's also like worth the trip. But if you don't have a car, that's when it starts to get tricky if you have to take Disney transportation. Since Port Orleans Resort isn't connected to any of the parks or anything, it's definitely a little bit harder to get here. It is somewhat connected to Disney Springs because you could take the boat from Disney Springs here. So if you were staying at another Disney resort, you can always take the bus over to Disney Springs and then take the boat over to Port Orleans here. Or you can go to one of the parks, take a bus to a park, and then take another bus to the resort. But I understand that can be like a bit of a hassle. So if you don't have a car, you're not going to Uber, or you're not staying here, I say maybe it might not be worth the trip. But if you're staying here or you have a car, 100%. And for my locals that are watching this video, I definitely think Boatwright'S is worth a trip for you guys. It's a restaurant that you might not have checked out before. You know, us locals are always looking for like new things to do. We've done a lot of the stuff here at Disney World, looking for new things to do, looking for new restaurants to eat at, and there's a very good chance you have not eaten at Boatwright'S. So I recommend, if you are local, come on over to Port Orleans Riverside and get a meal at Boatwright'S. But now that we are done with dinner, I think we're gonna head on over to the other side of the resort at French Quarter and check out Scat Cat's for a bit. All right, we have made our way into the Scat Cat's Club Lounge, and I am so shocked that we got a table. The resorts are super busy today because it's been raining for like all of yesterday and all of today. So everyone's kind of like staying back at the resorts for the day for dinner and stuff. And we lucked out with the table. We're kind of in the back corner, so we won't be able to see the jazz band too good. But one reason I love coming to Scat Cat's is because they have an incredible jazz band. You could get some drinks. They do have some light bites as well, and of course you could order beignets here, and you could watch this live jazz band. Here's a look at those light bites that I was talking about. They have loaded potato puffs, Mardi Gras fritters, Scat Cat's beignets, which are like savory beignets, I don't know how those are. They also have an oyster beignet, po' boy, bayou wings, sassy sarsaparilla sliders, which are actually vegan, and then they have Baton Rouge beignets, which are beignets with some alcohol in them. As far as the drinks go here at Scat Cats, there's nothing really like stand out. Like, I feel like this lounge is such an awesome place to hang out. The music is always great. You can get beignets, sit-down beignets, and drinks while listening to live jazz music. I feel like they do need to like up the drink menu here and have more like, you know, specialty kind of drinks. A lot of the drinks here are like the same drinks that they have at all the Disney pool bars and stuff. They do have a couple like unique things to this place, but I feel like they could use more of like a craft menu here. Maybe make it, I wouldn't even mind if they charged a little bit more, like upscale kind of like classy drinks. Like I feel like we're in like a classy jazz bar here. I feel like the drinks should be like a little bit more impressive. With that being said, I didn't order off the menu. I asked if they had any espresso martinis, which I've never had here. But you guys know espresso martinis are my go-to beverage. Never had one here, and she said they can make one with a shot of espresso. They do a vanilla vodka. They put Bailey's and Kahlua in there. I'm not a fan of like cream-based espresso martinis. I like my espresso martinis to be black and dark and not have like too much other flavors. I love the espresso flavor to shine through. So just a little bit of that vanilla vodka would be perfect. Instead of getting the Bailey's in it, I opted for like 2 shots of Kahlua instead. So we're gonna see how this one is. Here's a look at the specialty cocktails. They have like a vodka rum mango situation going on. They have a Hurricane Sazerac, a Bloody Mary, a bourbon peach tea, and a pineapple mule. So I guess they do have more. Oh, they also have 2 beers down here. I wonder if they're like New Orleans beers or beers from New Orleans. I'm not really too sure, but I guess they do have more like specialty cocktails than I thought. It is almost time for some live music. They let me know that the live music here at Scat Cats starts at 7:30, and we are nearing that time, so they're about to go on. And before they do, and it gets too loud in here, they're rehearsing right now, but before it gets too loud, I want to point out this outdoor patio that's behind me. Every time I come here with my friends, we just like want to sit out here so bad. There's 2 tables, but the doors are locked and they don't let anyone sit out there. I'm not sure why. I mean, on a night like tonight, it wouldn't be good because it's raining, but like on a nice cozy night, leave these doors on open. There's doors around the whole place. Leave them on open. Put some more tables out here. This would be a total vibe. Cheers. There may not be 3 beans on top of my espresso martini, but I'll let it slide because it tastes really good. I'm impressed that they actually have like espresso here. A lot of places at Disney will call it an espresso martini, but it's actually like cold brew. No, this is actual espresso. It's nice and strong. It has a very strong espresso flavor, just how I like it. I don't like when espresso martinis have too much like vanilla or chocolate flavor. No, this is like just straight up espresso. I would definitely get this again, actually. I definitely want to give the band a huge shout out. I mean, the band at Scat Cats is always so good. The band is so talented. I love how they sprinkle in just a couple of Disney songs. They started off with When You Wish Upon a Star, a couple of jazz songs, and then they ended with Let It Go. And the woman that sang Let It Go, I mean, that was amazing. She was so good. I'm going to include a couple snippets from some of their songs in this video so you guys can hear just how talented they are.
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, turn away and slam the door. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do.
I have just finished my espresso martini at perfect time because the band just finished their first round. So they come on at 7:30 and they have half-hour sets. So half hour on, half hour off, they take a break. So they start at 7:30, break at 8, next round at 8:30, and I think we're getting ready to head out of here. Well, that is going to do it for us here tonight at Port Orleans. Overall, like a super underrated evening, starting with an underrated restaurant and then heading to an underrated lounge. If you have never been to Scat Cats, I highly recommend you check this place out. It is such a good time. Like I said, band is incredible. Drinks are okay. Food is probably a skip, but you can get beignets, get a drink, and listen to that amazing jazz music. I want to thank my Patreon subscribers before I head out for the evening. Angela, Ashley, Barbara, the Calcanes family, Catherine, Lindsay, Misty, Shelby, Adam and Jen, Ann, Brittany, Karis, Chelsea, Carol, Danielle, and Marcel, Dante, Dustin and Nancy, Emily, Ethan, John Paul, Christina, Leah, Tori, Lisa, Martell family, Michael, Paul, Pickle, the Latham Thomas family, Tracy, Wayne, Jermaine, Eric, the Weaver family, and Janet and Gary. Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm always showing you guys underrated places here at Disney World and underrated places to eat and just all around great places to eat here at Disney. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.